goodness, they couldn't even wait. They rolling heads already. I thought they at least wait till the end of the year. At least just wait and see what Cotto and Canelo did. But I guess HBO just said, we're not wasting any time. As I told you, the downsizing and everything was getting ready to start. And now, I guess people realize, hey, this guy kind of knew what he was talking about. There's a lot of problems going on within HBO Sports and has been going on. Ken Hershman came in with his plan and they backed him for as long as HBO could. But everyone seems to believe what they write to you in the press. That everything is so okay. Well, if everything is so okay and everything's hunky-dory, why is he leaving? Why is he resigning? See, HBO is all about face. They don't want to lose any face in the stories. They hate to fire someone. That would look bad on HBO Sports. Why would they fire Ken Hershman when everything's going so well? Firing means something's wrong. Resigning means, well, he's just tired and wants to go do something else. But HBO is excellent. Now, they had the same problem when they had Greenberg, who HBO felt he wasn't as favorable to top-ranked promotions and was leaning more towards Golden Boy and Floyd Mayweather. So they wanted to get rid of Ross and force him to resign to bring in Ken Hershman, who was running a smaller budget over at Showtime, but Showtime had great events. Let's look at what Ken done. I mean, the Super 6 tournament was great. They had the tournament with the lighter weights as well. They did the same format there. They came over to HBO, and they done some good, but his combativeness with Al Heyman and letting personal issues, personal vendettas get in the way of business is what the main problem was. We're not seeing world championship bouts, and this guy is one of the main reasons why it's not happening. That's a problem. When you have a platform to want to put on the best fights, period, that should be your motivation. And some of those fighters just happen to be belonging to Al Heyman. You got to make the best fight for your network. That's what matters. When you try to say, well, we don't need you, we'll just make our own fights here, then you have what you have here. Now you have to resign. Of course you're going to stay on to help groom the other tool they're going to bring in here, Lombardo, who should probably be exiting right with you. So they're going to they're going to transition Mike in, and hopefully Mike is more of a successor, even though a lot of people would have liked to see Peter Nelson in there as a successor, but not me. Lombardo will probably be a little bit better than Ken Hershman as far as trying to work with other people like Al Heyman. What killed HBO, and what people are going to say, well, what happened? What's the problem here? The problem here was the revenue off pay-per-view. The HBO lost a load of money on Golovkin and Lemieux. The numbers you have been reported obviously wasn't the real numbers, and that's why a lot of heads was going to roll. And I guess it's getting close to the Cotto and Canelo fight, and the projected numbers of what they think for pay-per-view is not looking like it's going to do what it's supposed to do. And now this is just projected. A lot of people buy pay-per-view the day of, or 2 days, or the week of. Those numbers spike up to the ceiling. But right now, it's not really the projections out there. They do these polls to see who's going to order the fight, who's not going to order the fight. And it's looking sketchy right now if it's going to be successful on pay-per-view to where they need the number to be. Then, 2 is the success of PBC. No matter how much money HBO spent in having these writers write these ridiculous stories about how PBC is failing, PPC is not doing this, PPC, oh, they're losing, they're not going to have the big fights, oh, the PPC is doing this. But networks are throwing money at it. They're going to more networks. They're open to PBC. They want PBC. Where's HBO fighters on national television? Oh, True TV. Yeah. Now, we see all these fighters who normally would be on an undercard that we wouldn't see do anything. We've seen them on PBC. We get to see them live on television. We get boxing on television, and no HBO fighters are on there. None of those fighters that we're seeing on national television being promoted, so that even if they do come up, they'll be on Showtime. They wouldn't be on HBO. So who does that hurt? HBO. Why isn't this happening, Ken Hershman? Why don't we have the fighters that are on television? Why don't we have those guys fighting on HBO? Why? What is going on here? Why we don't have a connection with those audience, with that group core audience that seems to be tuning in and watching boxing? Why we don't have that here? Why we got these fighters that no one knows, and we got to spend all this money to try to market and build them up into something? What is going on? Now we got to put on fights like Rosado Kaladi, and stuff like that. We got to do double and trilogies. We got Kovalev fighting Pascal again. A fight that was a mismatch, but we got to put it on because we can't find him anybody to fight right now. Foolish pride. Foolish pride led to this. The programming is not good. I'm not attacking HBO because of Floyd Mayweather. I was attacking HBO when Floyd Mayweather was there. Things were not good. There are other people in the scenes. Everything don't fall on Ken Hershman. But you being the president of HBO sports programming, by the way, this is a problem. And once you have a problem, you go there. You go to the head of the problem. So all the other problems that were made by other people, it all's going to fall on Ken Hershman. And what they're going to say is, well, we tried, but Ken's not listening to us. There's a lot of fighting going on between a lot of different companies. This isn't over yet. This isn't over by a long shot. Everything is riding on Cotto and Canelo Alvarez. And they better hope Rock Nation is better at promoting than they are, or this is going to be a big headache for them. But I got to get out of here and get something to eat. I'm out.